Hey guys, today I'm going to be going through my Tigerless GB build. I know I promised you it a few weeks ago. I kind of don't want to rush through this, but I want to go through this pretty quickly. I don't want to eclipse 15 minutes in this video, as I know I have in the past a couple times. I went undefeated at my locals this last week and won with this Tigerless GB build. So without further ado, we're going to start. The first thing I want to say is for the new players, GBs do something called tagging, and when an attack is successful by your Gladiator beast, or they survive an attack by an opponent's monster, at the end of the battle phase you're going to be able to tag in another Gladiator beast from your deck. So when I refer to a tag in effect, that's what I'm talking about. Each one of these in the main deck are going to have a special tag in effect, and it can also tag out. So without further ado, let's start. First thing we have is 2 Laquari, 1800 attack, tags in to 2100, your beat stick of the deck. Next we have the 1700 attack Gladiator Beast Darius. When he comes in, he can grab a Gladiator Beast monster from your graveyard, special summon it. Its effects are negated. It's really good for contact fusing into maybe an Equeste or a Bestiari, or just grabbing another beat stick for the field. The monster that gets tagged in, though, cannot tag back into the deck. Additionally, when that Darius leaves the field, so does whatever it tagged in. So just keep that in mind. Next is 2 Equestes, 1600 attack. When it's tagged in, it can grab a Gladiator Beast card from your graveyard and add it to your hand. This will be almost always used on Gladiator Beast War Chariot, which is a amazing trap card we'll go over in a second. But he can also grab monsters and Gladiator Beast Respite, and even the equip cards if you decide to run them. I wouldn't do that, by the way. Next is Bestiari, 1500 attack. When he's tagged in, he destroys 1 spell or trap on the field. He has to do that if he can. So if you have a spell and trap and your opponent doesn't, and you tag him in, you have to blow up your own cards. So just be smart when you're bringing him in. If you bring him in with Darius from the graveyard, obviously you don't have to pop a card because his effect will be negated. But he's a component in making Jazeris, which is probably your bread and butter fusion monster for the deck. Next we have my favorite, the 1200 attack Retiari. When he's tagged in, you can remove from play 1 card in your opponent's graveyard. It's like a DD Crow that you can use and use whenever you need it. Hit that glow up bulb, hit that Fishborg Blaster, that Treeborn Frog, that Spore, and just mess those engines right up. It's an amazing card. Next is Hoplomus, 2100 defense is the main stat we're looking at here. And when he's tagged in, his defense goes up to 2400, so good for walling off and a first turn set. Setting him first turn is really good. Next is Murmillo. Like Bestiari, I see people misuse him all the time. When he's tagged in, he has to destroy a face-up monster on the field. So I've seen people try to tag him in and blow up a face-down monster that their opponent controls, and you know, they can't. So what happens whenever there's no other face-up monsters except for Murmillo? Obviously they have to kill their own Murmillo. That actually happened in a feature match in a recent YCS. I think it may have been Atlanta. I know that's not too recent, but it's within the last year. That guy in the feature match brought in Murmillo and didn't realize he couldn't just bring him in by himself and had to nuke his own card. So don't be that guy. Next is Thunder King Rai-Oh. Just a great card. 1900 attack is awesome. You can't add cards to your hand, so that stops Dragon's Ravine, it stops Smoke Signal, Gateway, Rhoda. Additionally, he can tribute himself to negate the special summon of a monster. And some people are confused as to what he can and can't negate. Think of it this way. If the monster that's being special summoned is being special summoned by an effect that started a chain, like a Monster Reborn, or, you know, Scrap Dragon dying and getting a scrap, or a Call of the Haunted, anything like that, he can't chain to anything. So the only thing that you can tribute to negate are things that have inherent summons, like a Synchro or a Cyber Dragon. So don't misplay the card, don't let your opponents misplay it. I see it happen all the time. Next is Gale the Whirlwind. Your biggest threats in the deck are going to be Legendary 6 Samurai Shien and Stardust Dragon. He's a 1 card out to those cards. You normal summon them, half their attack, and attack over. He's also a level 3 tuner, so he allows some synchroing capability for the deck. Just like the last card, this one is a 1 card out to our biggest threats, bounces any synchro, even Catastor. Here's another ruling for you. If Mole and Catastor attack each other, it doesn't matter which one attacks first, it has no bearing on what happens. Catastor's effect is mandatory, the effect to destroy, and Mole's is optional. So pretty much the mandatory will go on the chain link first, which is Catastor, and then chain link 2 will be Grand Mole. Now of course we know that chains resolve backwards. Grand Moles will actually go off first, so that both monsters will be bounced, and then you'll be left with Catastor's effect on the field, which has nothing to hit anymore and fizzles. Next we have 3 Gladiator Proving Grounds. I know there's a little problem here since I'm running Rai-Oh, and this adds cards to the hand. Essentially Rai-Oh it's so good that you have to play it if you can. Proving Ground adds consistency to my deck, and if I did have a Rai-Oh on the field it would be dead, but your opponent's going to have to get rid of Rai-Oh at some point, or you're going to use it to tribute to knock off a synchro summon from going off. So Proving Ground's always going to be good. It's like having any Gladiator beasts in your back pocket for whenever you want to use them. So great card, speeds it up, makes it consistent, fits all the roles that we need. Next is Forbidden Lance, a double threat, I guess is what you would call it, 2 birds, 1 stone. It's a spell speed 2, quick play magic card that also alters attack points. So you can use it in the battle phase. Forbidden Lance can be dropped in the battle phase, where there are very few answers for it to lower the attack, so it allows you to attack over. In addition, when you tag in that Bestiari, or you fusion summon for that Darius, they're going to try to hit it with whatever they can to save their cards. You just drop Lance on it, you get the effect anyway, and go on from there. 2 MSTs. I'm not going to really explain the staples, guys. There's no need to. You're all smart. But the biggest threats for your deck that these are going to hit are Royal Decree and Royal Oppression, so keep that in mind. Smashing Grounds, you'll see some Tigerless players using it, at least 1. I'm using 2. I love how it simplifies the game, simplifies the field, opens it up for my attacks to go through, and it's actually kind of an unexpected card. So, you know, a lot of people will run it like Machina Gadget and stuff like that, but it's actually really underrated in my eyes. So I'm running 2. Book of Moon, Trunade, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, 3 Chariot, spell speed 3 trap that when an opponent's monster activates an effect, if I have a face-up Gladiator beast on my side of the field, I can flip it, I can negate that effect and destroy the monster. So this means I can bait out Shien with maybe that Smashing Ground, flip over War Chariot, and destroy that Shien. Or they could, you know, try to negate maybe a destruction by one of my Gladiator Beasts with Stardust. I can flip over Gladiator Beast War Chariot when he tries to negate and actually destroy that Stardust, and he won't come back. Very versatile. I run 3 because I want to get it early and start recycling it with Equeste as soon as possible. 3 D-Prisons. It's really good, guys. I know not too many decks will run 3D prisons. You may see it in some of like the Light Hero Beat decks and stuff like that. I really love it. Again, it simplifies my field, it stops Stardust, and it's really good in my eyes. It's a great card to have at 3, and I'm running 3. Next is Solemn Warning. I know you guys probably don't like seeing this card because it's so expensive, but it is just so good at what it does, which is stopping your opponent's plays in their tracks. You could put 2D prisons here, but again, that's not going to do the same thing that a Solemn Warning does. So if you can, get the Solemn Warnings, guys. 7 Tools of the Bandit. It's going to stop Magatamas, any of your opponent's spell speed 3, you know, theme-specific traps, kind of like Divine Punishment that just came out in the Structure deck. Your opponent's War Chariots. That's going to additionally just to stop, you know, your basic spell speed 3. Things like Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment, your opponent's 7 tools. It's just a great overall protection card, as is this one, Dust Tornado. It's pretty much like MST's little brother. I just like the added destruction that I get. Again, simplifying the game is what I'm trying to do, and then win with my field presence and you know, the overbearing effects of some of these GBs. Next is Compulse. Some people will run 2 instead of maybe that Dust Tornado. It bounces cards back, but be it yours to save it from some effect, or, you know, bounces back synchros back to the extra deck. They're not going to get him back from there. Bounce back tuners to save a big play from going off. Just use it smart. It can be your best friend. This won me a few games the other day by itself, and it is a card in the future I'll look at moving to 2. 1 Torrential Tribute, 1 Mirror Force, and 1 Solemn Judgment. Yeah, common. If you haven't noticed, I've gone from trying to bling out my decks to de-bling my decks. Everything I have is pretty much lowest rarity for the most part. Now we'll go over my extra deck, and then we'll even take a look at my side deck that I think is pretty thorough for today's meta. Alright, we have about 4 more minutes, so let's do it. Okay, we got 3 Esidaris. This is really the only one that's really going to need a lot of explaining. It requires any 2 Gladiator Beasts, and you contact fuse, which means you don't need polymerization. You just have the 2 monsters on the field, and he's a 2500 beat stick, vanilla. I mean, that's all he does. He can't tag out, but there's 2 reasons why he's good. If I tag in a Retiari with 1200 tag and a Murmillo with 800 tag, they're just going to get demolished next turn, and I don't want to leave them out there because I want to reuse their effects. So I'll tag them back into the deck for a Esidari, and I'll have a 2500 beat stick, at least for a turn. Additionally, I can go into him somewhat early against 6 Samurais and maybe like a Dragoonity deck that can spit out Stardust at will. And it may make them synchro around it. So instead of going for that Xian, the 6 Sam player may go for a Nat Beast or a Catastor, or instead of going for that Stardust, the Dragoonity player may go for a Scrap Dragon, which I have easier outs to those cards than those other 2, so it's a deterrent as well. And then we have Jazeris. He requires Bestiari and 1 other card. When he comes out in the field, pop up to 2 cards, and then he can tag out to 2 more Gladiator Beasts. Amazing card. Just really good. And 1 Heraclinos. This is the boss card. I only have 1 because he's not. You won't make him that often, but when you do, you pretty much have game. Your cards Laquari and 2 other Gladiator Beasts, which is very easy with Darius to pull off. And pretty much he can negate any spell or trap on the field by discarding a card from your hand. And he can negate in a chain. So if you have a hand with like 3 cards in it and a maybe 1 face down Gladiator Beast War Chariot, you probably have game if he's on the field. And then just generic synchros, Scrap Dragon, Colossal Fighter, Stardust, Black Rose, the Blackwing synchros because we are running Gale, Brianak, I Live Justice Catastor, and a Chimeric Fortress. Have about 2 minutes to go over the side deck. I'm not going to go into too much detail. 2 Cyber Dragons for Machines in the Mirror Match, 2 Connect Soldiers for 6 Samurai, 2 DD Crows for a plethora of decks. Any deck that I know is going to be digging into their graveyard to target something specifically, or that abuses Avarice, I'm going to side these in for. 2 Effect Veilers, you have to with this new psychic stuff going around, and the Trishula OTK. 2 D-Fissures, great side in for frogs and plants, and scrapped. Any deck that deal with the graveyard are pretty much exclusively. Nobleman of Crossouts for GKs, and anything that I know is running Rai-Ohs, and even for Worms. 2 Noble and of Crossout, which is what I just said. I don't know why I'm saying it again. 2 Chain Disappearance. I use it primarily for Dragoonities, and sometimes if I'm feeling saucy, I'll put them in for 6 Samurai to try to hit their Kakamusha. But hitting Phalanx with this card in Dragoonities is almost always going to be game-ending for them, especially if it's early. And the last card is Dust Tornado. I sided into a second one just for those decks that I need a little extra back row hate. I'll side it in for Dragoonities and 6 Samurai for sure, and then depending on what deck, I might side it in for other ones. So that's it. We got our main deck, we got our extra, we have our Dust Tornado in our